In this lesson, I want to show how we can make our navigation more and as well as our website more responsive. So see, when we shrink it down, this happens. And we can solve this by using media queries. And these allow us the ability to set different styling depending on the size of the screen. So maybe we want to set a min width and have different styling take place on 600 pixels or something like that. And all of the styling in between here is what's going to take place there. So just to demonstrate, we'll do wrapper, we'll do background color, and we'll give it a greenish background color. So whenever we shrink it down below 600, see what happened there, something. And in order to make it happen, so there's just missing that space in there. So let's take a look at this. And we can see that now whenever we're over 600, it's got a green background, and we shrink under 600, it does something else. And this is actually the way that we want it to work, because we want to have something, we want to be able to do something different on different size screens and have the ability to change that whenever we go mobile. So maybe on our main screen, so we've got this header here that's got this really big font size that's not really compatible. So maybe we'll just move that down there and remove out some of this stuff here. Actually, we could probably just remove out everything from there. So now whenever we're big, we get that, but whenever we shrink down, then it updates to be a more mobile compatible view. So we can do the same thing for our navigation menu as well. So we've got a bunch of items here in our menu, and maybe we want to set a specific height or a specific width for them so that they're all nicely laid out. So we saw that we could do that over here, but we want to maybe set that width down here instead. So I'm going to update the list items. I'm going to do width, and I'm going to give them a width of 150 so that they're nicely spaced out. And now we can see that all of our items are much better spaced out and presented. And another thing that we might want to move down as well is this inline block. And the reason for that is that when we move inline block down, whenever we shrink it down, we get all of our items get shrunk down and presented a little bit in a little bit better fashion here. So there is a difference there between the way it gets presented and used within mobile. So it's a little bit better presented. So some of the other things that we might want, any of these fixed widths, we definitely want to take care of whenever we shrink it down and present it in mobile. Back into our editor over here, and let's take a look at our content and then the A side. And the way that we're going to present these is we're going to float them both to the left so that they both hang to right beside each other. So this one we're going to identify as content. And again, this is also up to preference, however you want to lay it out, and however you want to identify it. So maybe I'll give this one a width of, so we had a total width of our page, I believe was, when I go up here, we've got 980. So maybe I want to present this as a width of 600, and then the A side there. So A side, so I haven't given that one an ID, so we're just going to float this one to the left, and I'm going to give this one a width of, I believe we've got 380 left there. So I'll just save that and I'll show you how this looks. And now we see what's happening here is that we're actually taking up a little bit more space than we've got available for us. And this is because we need to remove out some of this excess here. So I'm just going to remove out 30 and refresh the page. And now we've got it looking a little bit better, but the problem is the footer is still floating. So we want to get rid of the float on the footer. So we've given it an ID of footer. And what we need to do to remove out that float, we need to do a clear both styling. And we see now we've got it much better presented within our website. When I go back out here and refresh it, So now we've got our main content area, and maybe I need to add some background colors to make it a little bit more noticeable to what we're looking at. So maybe my main content area, or it'll just be white. And I'm going to get rid of that entire background, and then maybe my side menu, maybe not aquamarine, but we'll change it into a grayish color. So there we go. So let's just save that and take a look at this now. And also for the footer, so typically for footers, you're going to have a reserved height for them. So maybe do 200 pixels. And also maybe I'm going to do a color. So background color, and do just black. And now we're just going to change the text to white so it really stands out there, and maybe make it a little bit smaller. So let's just save that and refresh. And also maybe we want to do a text align and center that text. And also maybe some padding. So now it looks more like a website, and of course we don't have a lot of content in here, so maybe let's try to add in some of our images here, so that image source code, and maybe if we've got our form here, so I'm going to just pop over to that previous one, and I maybe got a form in here. So save that. So this obviously it'll look a lot better if I have some content in here. So I'm just trying to get some quick content here. Let's add in an image in here. So img source equals. And now let's go back out into our browser and refresh the page. So now we've got something that looks a little bit more like a website. And something happened there, so I'll just refresh that. Hop over and get some text here. There's blindtextgenerator.com, really good resource here for creating some quick lorem text. So bring that down to maybe 10 words or something like, or probably need a little bit more than that. And bring it up to 4 paragraphs, select all, copy to clipboard, go back to our browser, and now place that in to up here. So again, lorem text, just like the image generator, it's just a good resource to have whenever you want to fill up some space. You can also place that into that aside area, because typically we might want to have some more content in there, so it looks a little bit more presentable.